have finally reached the top. This is
It is the end.
We did it!
We did it!
We're going to be free soon, Jake. Just give it a couple.
We're free!
My top 10 was great.
Jake, who's the most bold and brazen man who ever sailed the briny blue?
What the heck are you doing?
Keep going.
All I'm saying is we have finally reached my number 1 pick.
Oh.
Yeah.
What could that be?
What could that possibly... What movie do I talk about almost all the time?
Mitchells versus Machines.
Oh, that's true.
That is also kind of true.
The Mario movie.
That is also true. Oh, I think you bring that up more than I do.
80.
Just saying.
That's because your take on it is bad.
I think it's because you just can't get enough of my awesome opinions. I think that's
The movie, everyone, is Norbit.
Yes, Norbit. No.
It's the Lorax.
It's the Lorax.
Oh, Dickey, why didn't you pick the
I
Lorax?
should have picked the Lorax.
We could just do it. You could have just done it that way and done a complete troll top 10.
That would have been.
You
honestly
should have.
great.
Would have
I
been
really-
more interesting.
Wow, really? But you know what's really interesting?
That's a shot.
My actual number 1 pick. One of the greatest movies ever made. Period. Hands down. Mic drop. Empire Strikes Back, ladies and gentlemen. I can't. It doesn't get better.
No one's ever talked about this movie.
No.
Unheard of.
Who has ever once mentioned a Star Wars? Not us.
Star Wars, but Star Wars. That Bill Murray SNL thing is...
So wait, what did we watch?
Empire Strikes
Oh,
Back.
crap.
Baby.
We watched the wrong movie today.
Yeah, I watched
I watched a nice little
I
Saturday morning,
watched Wrath of
Battlestar
Khan.
Galactica.
Was it not Star Trek we were supposed to watch?
So close, but so far away.
The Last Starfighter.
Oh yeah, the dude with the poop looking face.
Yeah.
Never actually seen it. I don't know what that means.
Oh, I haven't seen it either. I was just making him feel better. I'm sorry. I brought
It's
it up.
okay. It's not exactly a great movie.
But you know what is a great movie? Empire Strikes Back. So let's talk about that. I literally, I am sure I have mentioned this many of times as stuff now in the podcast, but for anybody who's new or wants to know, this is the movie that I put on whenever I'm feeling sad, whenever I'm feeling
Lonely.
whenever I'm feeling lonely, whenever I'm feeling down, whenever I just want something fun to watch that I know that I'm going to enjoy. Jake, stop laughing.
I can't.
I put on Empire Strikes Back because nothing makes me happier than watching Luke jump through the trees, watching Yoda train him.
No, nothing's better for you than watching your 3 main characters get tortured and chased for a whole movie. Literally, they're all having the worst time.
Yeah.
For 124 minutes. Well, less than that if you count the credits and the opening scroll, but you understand.
What's the after credit scene on this?
Yeah. That's Luke trying on his Return of the Jedi gear for the first time. He picks it up and he's like, ooh, that feels nice.
It's he goes
I don't
back
like how
to
you did that.
he goes back to Dagobah. And Yoda's like, I handled it well, I see.
Thank God we don't have after credits after these. Oh, my
Skywalker will return.
Yeah,
What?
Most of them.
Oh, that's great.
Or it's just a shot of the head just staring at the camera.
That is still unsettling. Like, for how goofy this movie is, because it's just... That's the charm of it. Your word.
No way.
That is still unsettling. I don't care. The scene is a little goofy, like we were saying, like, yeah, the slow motion, that's an 80s thing.
It's definitely an 80s thing.
But that shot of his decapitated head staring at him is just unsettling.
It's freaky. That whole sequence where he's like, it's. I'm trying to remember where now is that whole sequence in slow motion Or is it just
Yeah.
It's a weird slow motion because it's not right. It's like 80s slow motion where it's chunky.
Well,
It's because
I wonder if they
probably shot in 24 and they just slowed it down really far. And it's all when they had. It's not like slow motion hadn't been done before with higher frame rates. They probably chose that, or it's like, oh, we should make the slow motion. It's a little too fast. And then they slowed it way down. This looks cool.
I was gonna say that's probably more like what it was. This is going too fast. No one's gonna understand what this is already. We better slow it down so they have to look at it for 5 minutes. What is the There is there not a piece of Star Wars canon that has Leia going into that cave?
I don't know.
At this point, I don't know if it would be canon, but I wouldn't be surprised. If
No, I feel like I've seen that in a movie. Maybe I saw it in a comic book.
That's what that feels
Which
like
the comic books are still canon.
Not all of them.
A lot of them.
A lot of them are, but those are the new ones that were. I say new. But those are the ones that have came out since Disney took over. Like all the stuff before Disney, it exists, but it's just quote unquote extended universe. So it doesn't really exist.
Legends is what they call it.
Right, Legends, yeah.
No, I'm not a Star Wars fan at all. Don't say that about me.
I didn't say anything.
It's so hard not like this. Like I can't even begin. I don't even know where to begin.
Okay, dude, bro. I'm like, go ahead.
Are you gonna?
I didn't like it as much this time. I think I have become too jaded to. I think Star Wars fandom has become too toxic that I look at that and all the shine comes off of what's there, and it's like.
See, for me, that's when I watch any like new, like if I were to watch, let's say, the sequel trilogy, like 7 through 9, or pretty much anything after Disney took over,
Well, you'd have to struggle not to get a seizure watching 9.
Like it's still Star Wars to me, so I still find like a little bit of enjoyment out of it. Maybe not Episode 9, but I get a little bit of enjoyment out of everything. But it's so hard to turn off that toxic Star Wars fan. But when I turn the page all the way back to like Empire Strikes Back, I just remember what it was like being a little kid watching it, and every like scary thing just floats away.
I wonder. I know for a fact if I was a kid in 1977 and 80, I'd love this. Oh, yeah. I wonder if I'm in high school or college and this comes out and everyone is losing their minds. I wonder if I get annoyed by it.
You wouldn't like it.
Not that I wouldn't like it for it, not something I'd like. Just be like, would people please shut up about this? Like, I would like this more if people would stop freaking out. Yeah, that's just. Well, I just know it's.
I don't
the
think
same
people
thing
would freak out about it in the same way. Star Wars is one of those not flash in a pan, but
no, the exact opposite.
Yeah,
it's
bonfire. It's the lights of Gondor.
The beacons of ministry.
There you go. That's what they're called.
See, but those get lit up every once in a while. Star Wars is like the eternal flame.
Star Wars is like the sun, in that it's going to kill us all.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Although, it's funny because as of recording this, I think it was sometime last week, they just announced 3 new dates for 3 more movies.
Yeah, because at 9th one, they killed their schedule for a while.
Yeah, it's crazy because they were like on a good schedule for all the movies. And
I would not call big movie Rogue One, big movie Han Solo a good schedule.
But it was a schedule regardless. They still had a rhythm to dropping stuff, and now it's been 4 years?
It's too much. It's oversaturation. A Star Wars movie every year. Look what happened by the time Solo came out. No one came to watch it.
No.
Did you work that night with me, opening night of Solo?
I was in Florida.
That's right, spring break.
Yeah.
Spring break.
Spring break.
Yeah.
How did you know to do that already?
What?
I haven't done that much around you. How did you know? How did you know?
I just know. So, I remember standing in the lobby opening night, which I had worked a Star Wars movie by then, which was Last Jedi, and opening night was one of the longest shifts. And standing in the lobby, waiting for the onslaught of Star Wars fans. and it was the deadest opening night I've ever seen for that big of a blockbuster.
Yeah.
And why do you say that? Because it came out like 4 months after Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
4 months.
And also, just
And they
Last
also-
Jedi being divisive enough didn't help
There it is
much.
again.
Oh god.
Okay.
And also
Here we go.
And also the whole director firing thing.
Oh,
factors
you're
in.
right.
But just
absolutely.
it's too much. Like Star Wars movies should not come out every year.
No.
That's way too much. We already have a bunch of shows now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like Skywalker killed the schedule, and then the COVID changed everything, and that like so much has happened. What were you gonna say, Jake?
Well, first of all, I wanted to ask those 3 new dates for those 3 new movies.
Yeah.
Are they all written and directed by Rian Johnson?
They not told us what the movies are even going to be. They just
better
gave us
be.
release dates.
And they better have Daisy Ridley.
One of them,
Is that her name?
yeah, one of them will, I think, because we haven't heard. The last thing that I remember hearing was that Rian Johnson's trilogy got kaput. Makes sense.
How does that make sense?
I don't want it to, but based off of how 8 was
Received.
received, I'm not surprised. But what I am surprised about is the fact that based off of how bad 8 was received, they dropped Rian Johnson. But yet you bring back Daisy Ridley?
Yes.
I have so many questions.
I'd even bring back Finn. I want to see him more.
Yeah.
John
He is
Boyega's
a good-
great.
But he,
what
it's
is
not that
it?
we'll bring it back.
What
I
is
think
his
he's
actual name
refused.
again?
John Boyega.
There we
He's done working with Disney. He
I don't
said,
blame him.
yeah, which
Yeah.
he said is pretty toxic.
Yeah, I
Wasn't
don't
he
blame him
also
at all.
in like Detroit or something?
Yeah,
a couple
yeah,
things.
Detroit. It was just called Detroit, I think. It was
Yeah.
the,
Attack the Block, isn't that his? That was,
That was
that
another
was the
one.
movie that they saw him in that convinced them to screen test him or
yeah,
cast him.
yeah.
What a shame. He was so wasted.
I know, which it's crazy to think that, like, I mean, I think the biggest reason things got I didn't mean to take it if you were saying something before, but
Oh, I'll get back to it.
okay. Well, just looking at like Empire Strikes Back to my movie compared to like the Star Wars that dropped now, is like fans freaked out. They went to online and everybody knew. Essentially, if you were online, how polarizing Episode 8 was.
That's what
I'm just so curious if the internet culture existed like it does today, back in 1980, if people would have thought the same thing when it turned out that Vader was Luke's father. Because I'm sure there were a lot of people that did not like that. And I'm sure there are a lot of people that did not like... I'm trying to think of any of the other polarizing things.
I
that
don't-
happened.
okay,
Like the way that
okay.
it ended. That's the other thing is, I mean...
I don't know that you can compare the two, because Star Wars would not have gotten made like this had the internet existed, because so many things, if the internet did not exist, if the internet did exist back in the 70s and in the 80s, well, on a consumer level, exist back in the 70s and 80s, nothing would look the same, because there are several pieces that had to come, like that's just a, I don't know how to say it,
I mean, I know,
because
like...
there's just so much to that thought that Star Wars had to come out the year that it did. Like,
Yeah.
Star Wars had to come out at the time it did, or it would not have been successful.
I agree. I was just saying... I'm not speaking technologically. I'm just speaking, like, just culture.
No, I'm speaking in general. Like even if it was a cartoon, it had to come out at that time for it to be successful.
I know. I just think culturally speaking, it's hard for me to say because I wasn't alive back then. None of us were
What?
alive back then.
Well,
80.
yeah.
So yeah, I just.
I
would've
was
been
a sparkle in my dad's eye.
Oh, Jesus.
Wasn't that the year your sister was born?
81.
81.
Because I'm just curious if there was as much, not just revolt, but just polarizing nature of Episode 5.
I do not know. So, from my perspective, part of the reason Star Wars fandom is so toxic is because of what came before it. So, if you're talking about taking this fandom, plopping it into the 70s and 80s, and saying, would it react the same way? I don't think so, because there was nothing before it to compare it to. Like, there's nothing to build the fandom if the movie is there.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I also don't think, given that it is one of the most iconic moments in sci-fi history, if not the most iconic moment in sci-fi history.
It's one of the most iconic film moments.
It really is.
I do not think the masses would have received it poorly.
I think this is the plot twist.
Yeah.
Like, out of all the plot twists ever, this is, like, the big one.
Could you imagine actually being a kid and going to see this in theaters and then, like, that happens? Like, I can't even imagine being in that, like, mind.
I can imagine movies being so much better. Well, even back when I was a kid. Because, like, twists like that could exist. And not get spoiled by Facebook.
And not even spoiling. I feel like just, like, internet culture in general, just it hypes things up or tears things down so quickly and easily. Going into a movie with not that kind of mindset of people are going crazy over this or people are hating it, like just going and just enjoying it as it is. I would love to experience that.
That clip from The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Homer and Marge walk out of Empire. Wow, who would have thought Darth Vader was Luke's father? Ah, thanks for the spoilers, jerk. It's like a 15-second clip. It's
great.
Also, I just read the Letterboxd plot summary premise. Yeah, I don't think it's right because it's pretty long, and it's talking about like Luke has to learn from Yoda, but Vader is determined to capture Luke. Meanwhile, Rebel leader Princess Leia, cocky Han Solo, Chewbacca, and droid C-3PO and R2-D2 are thrown into various stages of capture, betrayal, and despair. R2 is with Luke most of the movie.
Yeah, he is.
He's with them. He's with the other group for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's wrong. And there's no Oxford comma. I hate that.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. From the beginning of Episode 8 coming out, I have vocalized comparisons to Empire Strikes Back.
A lot of people have.
No one, not anyone that I talked to.
No.
You just finally today admitted that I was right.
About what? Sorry.
Are you even freaking listening?
I went blank for a second.
Why am I on? Never mind. Never mind.
I heard it, and then I just all of a sudden just blanked. I don't know why. I heard you saying, I was talking, and all of a sudden just... And I don't know why. I'm going to take a sip of water. Repeat what you just said.
You finally admitted that I was right about the comparisons between Empire and Last Jedi.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, because I was like, hey, both movies, they're just running away the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
While someone else is in a different location training.
Yeah. Which is so interesting that, like, because, like, right? I want to talk about Empire Strikes Back, but Episode 8 is so similar. You can't not.
It's a better movie.
Ooh, I don't know if it's a better movie.
Episode 8 is better movie.
Then Empire Strikes Back? That's a very hot take.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I would not say that either.
2 words. Cantabite.
Honestly, is
that 2 words?
I don't know. Because if it is 2 words, then we're good. If it's 1 word, then it's the joke.
No. There you go. Keymaster. 2 words.
Chrome Dome.
Chrome Dome.
See,
what another waste of a character.
Yeah, that's something. It's like that's dumb fun, sure, whatever. Mm-hmm. The Cantabite stuff is stupid.
It's just
That's the thing. That's wasted time. At least Empire doesn't have wasted time like that.
Mm-mm. No,
that's like the one big difference between them for me. It's
no
like,
wasted time or wasted characters.
Yeah, but should we?
Can we talk?
I know you.
Can we talk about the dumb stuff, the really dumb stuff now?
I feel like you made a list or something. So
well, it's not something we thought of. It's something I had heard from the filmmakers. I think I was watching Empire of Dreams a couple years ago. Mm. Again, I was like, that's right. And then now I was talking to him because the movie's on, he's watching, and I'm editing. And I remember every time I look up, I was like, because I watched it like a week and a half ago. Mm. And all of a sudden, I'm like,
that's weird. And I thought, yeah.
The timelines.
And then you said it again. And then you said it again.
The big thing is the timelines of each storyline don't work very well without something being sacrificed. Because, and they said this, the Luke stuff is him training. Mm-hmm. So that they want it to be a while for him to actually like learn. So when he leaves, it's like he can't leave now. The problem is with the Han and Leia and Chewie and them running away, mm-hmm. how long were they in that asteroid? So they said we ran into this problem of well, we don't want them to be in there for like weeks. So we had to shorten the Luke stuff. But then the Luke stuff's like, he barely did any training then.
He had
it's
a day of lightsaber
He had like
training.
a day of lightsaber training.
And then he was able to fight the most powerful Sith in the galaxy.
Well, there's an explanation for that I said, remember?
My explanation
yeah,
is just
but
that
that's kind of a weak explanation.
No, it's
He's
literally
his son.
he's fighting him one-handed at first. He's
That's
not
fair.
trying to hurt him. He's trying to turn him. He's
That-
trying to freeze him. That's why. And the only time
Yes.
he actually hurts him when he chops his hand off is after Luke gets a blow on his shoulder and he slices the thing and then gets Luke's hand. That's the only time he actually tries to hurt him because he's trying to freeze him.
Yeah, he wants to take him to the Emperor so they can turn him
Yep,
together.
and he is hurting him by forcing the stuff in him, but that's cuts and bruises. Like
Yes.
he chops off his hand.
Takes up, yeah, well, he
So
has
that's-
to pass down the family.
Yes.
the family crest. I don't know.
So like that makes it, but the whole like the way both timelines, it's like, yeah, they're not really working as well as they want them to work. It's not a big negative. It's just it's a thing of
that never
because it's like
crossed my
it's either
mind.
Luke trains for a day,
Yep.
or Han and Leia are stuck
And then
being
he-
chased for a
week.
way.
And then he
way
straight
too
up
long.
says, "But I've come so far. It's been like an hour."
I mean, I just wonder. if
Remember
that's-
your training in the cave? Oh yeah, how could I forget? That was 5 minutes ago.
Or like he tries to lift a couple boxes and then later his X-Wing and he doesn't do it and he goes around the corner and pouts and then Yoda lifts it like a boss and Luke just looks up, walks back over. It's like, yeah, it's either he doesn't have much training or they're hiding for a long time.
Unless-
and
Him
I doubt-
not having much training is kind of the point.
but he barely did
because-
anything. That's the thing. It's
yeah.
like they make it seem like you can't leave now. You have to finish. Like finish. Because
gotta-
and now the prequels ruin it because the prequels it's years of your life
Yeah.
just to
Well,
get
and
to
then
that
and
point.
then to not to move forward, but then you get to 3, and that's what, a year has passed, and he's basically, you said year, right? Did
Well,
you
from
blank
what I
again?
heard- No, from what I heard, it's a year between 5 and 6. You're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's why I because you're like 3.
Also before
Oh, sorry.
Revenge of the Sith. That's why I was like
That's
3.
my Freudian slip.
before Disney came out and changed a bunch of stuff, between 5 and 6 is when a lot of extended universe took place because you didn't see Luke finish his training.
Well, we can't talk about extended universe or legends because it doesn't
Legends.
count now. Remember?
I know, yeah.
So all of a sudden he comes in 3, and he's
6.
like, sorry, 6. Stupid numbering conventions. It's not as bad as Homecoming, but it's close.
That's not a numbering thing. That's the titles.
That's just the
It
time.
is.
Yeah. No Way Home, Homecoming.
Stupid
Far From-
titling conventions.
Hey, into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse, beyond the. That's
That's much easier.
Yeah, they changed the first word of each. It's not putting home somewhere in the title every time.
Yeah, I think it's still they're all kind of dumb. I just no.
But yeah, that's the big thing with like
That
I know I said pacing. It's probably not. It's just the timeline of these storylines. It's like it works. You just sacrifice some of one of it. They had to pick, and it's like, yeah, the more likely thing is Han and Leia were hiding for like a day.
So
Which
So-
a day makes sense to me. I feel like that's enough
that
time.
bends back into the other really stupid thing about the movie. Well, one of the other really stupid things.
I know what he's gonna talk about.
Either they were stuck in that asteroid for a month, or they
month?
were. That's what he was just talking about.
Not a whole month. You said a day.
It is
In
a
this,
day.
Yeah.
I
We're
think
talking
it's-
about.
It could have been for
could
like
have
weeks or a month. Like who knows how long they could have been in there if they chose to do it that way.
So either that, or they were stuck on the back of that Star Destroyer for however long. And here's why that's stupid. Here's why that's stupid.
I love it.
It's dumb. It's
It's
really
dumb.
dumb.
It's
It's
real
so
dumb.
It's supposed to be dumb. That's the point.
It's just
Go on.
Whenever he says it's supposed to be dumb, that's the point. It like makes my brain go out my ear.
That's the effect they tend to have on people. I'll take it.
Apparently, I had that effect on Jared now.
True.
it's one of those things. It's like I can take a lot of dumb, fun stuff in this movie. That one, it's like that's how would they
So
not?
okay, so like
What?
we were talking about like wouldn't your shields like understand that? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna ignore that and just assume whatever. They have windows on that dang ship.
And other ships. There are like
are other ships.
There are like four Star
and
Destroyers.
the other ships give reports on what they see.
And there's all the fighters flying around.
Like, there's no way.
And not one person saw
and
that
then,
ship.
And then when they eject with the trash, and that's
good.
that's a smart thing.
That's good.
That's a fun thing. Except it goes back out into a stupid thing because Boba Fett is right there.
Right behind them.
Yeah.
And again, the Millennium Falcon has windows. So why are they shocked when they... Oh, my God.
I don't know.
It shattered my illusion. My viewing of this today shattered my illusion of the film.
Just never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
one thing, because of course we can sit here and not fix it, but offer differences because we were not there and we were not making it and have all the stress. My thing would be like, what I would have done if I'm sitting in like that story, it's like, what if their hyperdrive works off of Hoth, and they get it working, they go into light speed away from the Empire, but that's when it breaks down and they jump out of hyperspace somewhere else, like they don't know where they are at first, and then so it gives you time to have Luke train because they're like, okay, we're kind of broken down and floating in space. And then the Empire shows up again because it's kind of a one long chase and they're hiding.
Yeah.
Instead, this one's like it gives them distance and the Empire can't track them in hyperspace yet.
Yeah, right.
But I remember thinking like that would at least give them time to develop Luke's storyline, and then when the Empire shows up, because maybe Boba Fett finds them and calls the Empire.
But again, it goes back to the whole point of Luke is not supposed to develop. He's not supposed to have the time. That's kind of the whole point.
But then why does he act like he has had the time?
That's the thing. I think the way they cut it, he was going to be there longer. I think they cut a bunch out.
Which they might have just because, just when you make a movie, like, you gotta just cut stuff.
I think they were saying in the documentary, like, they filmed a bunch of stuff with Luke, and when they had the original cut, that first cut where you're like, okay, this is 4 hours long, we gotta shave this down to 2. Mm-hmm. They're probably, okay, Luke's storyline makes it seem like Han and Leia are stuck in that asteroid for weeks. Mm-hmm. So that's why a lot of Luke stuff is gone, and it seems like it's a day. Because it technically is.
It is.
So that's why I was like, if you change it that way, if it's not one continuous chase like that, then that helps that storyline.
I like it like this way. I'd rather have it this way than Luke spending too much time because...
It wouldn't be too much time, even if it's just a couple days.
But still, I like the idea of his training was not completed whatsoever, and that's why...
Barely start. That's the problem, is if he's there a couple days and Yoda says it's not completed, I still buy it. You don't learn everything in a couple days. That's the thing.
And the other thing is they shoot themselves in the foot by breaking it when you go back and backfill the Jedi Academy, and
that's not this movie's fault.
But that's not Empire's fault though.
But like as a whole, it shatters that idea. And
shatters what idea? I'm kind of confused. What you're saying?
Because I think he's trying to say in the prequels.
When you know that it takes a lifetime to be a Jedi, and you hear him say, "But I've come so far since the cave, and it's been like 30 seconds for you," it shatters that illusion. And a lot of people now watch Star Wars for the first time in sequential order because he added those numbers, and people look at it and people just assume. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the better way to watch it is in the release order.
Yep.
Release order, or do you want to track the conversation about the what's the order that's the name is called? 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. There's a name for that.
I don't know what the point of that. I've heard of that, but I don't know what the point of that is.
It's just before Episode 6, where Vader is actually redeemed. You learn about his history. So it's essentially...
You get all the movies out of the way to get to the best movie, Return of the Jedi.
Oh, is that your favorite too, Return?
No, it's not my favorite. I've been talking about my favorite.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. We're not... When we talk about the plot this way, we're not trying to say it's bad. It's not even close to bad. It's great. It's a good movie.
It's fun. It's really well paced. I think it's probably the best Star Wars.
Yep. And the character stuff. I remember you saying like Leia is not as strong of a character in this as she was in the one before it. But that's like the one nitpick, because everything else, like they do deepen the characters better, and the interactions they have are good. And I think you said like the one thing they do, which works, because then they come. It's the first movie they're all together, and then this one they're all separate. Well, Luke separated from it, and then the
And
last
R2.
one. Yeah.
And R2.
Yeah. And R2. And then the last one, they're all together again.
Yeah, I
So.
love that idea, and I think I said this before, I'll say it again. I love the idea of when the second movie, you are able to break apart that team and develop each character more. For me, I go back and forth with what I love more, honestly.
I don't know. I sort of think Han and Leia function as one character in this.
I was gonna say I don't know if I
He
love
is a
Luke's
jerk
training
in this
or
movie.
Han and
I
Leia's.
know.
Not that he wasn't a jerk in the movie before, but like especially.
Really, I mean,
So-
the iconic line, "I love you, I know." Like, oh my god.
How do people watch that and think, yeah, that's the guy I want to be. That's the
What's
way I
up?
want to treat my girlfriend.
Like this never what he was designed to be.
It's called sexual
He was
tension, Jake.
He was designed to be.
Gotta get
a-
that riz.
a-
What do you know about that, fist bump?
Nothing.
Dickie knows a lot about that right now.
Oh, would you stop that?
I can't. I'm on a roll, man.
But no, the Han and Leia, just those two, or it makes me so happy. That is genuinely some of my favorite, because I just love quippy characters, and when those two are going back like at each other, it makes me so happy.
Laser brain.
Laser, you scruffy looking nerf. Who are you calling scruffy? Like it just makes me so happy.
Who's
Harrison-
scruffy looking?
Yeah, who's
I do sort of wish Harrison Ford would have died. I started thinking, you were telling me about that today, and I started thinking about it. I was
Died
like,
in
that.
this
I think
one?
that would have made it
That's
better.
what he wanted.
I thought he wanted to go on 6.
This one, he hates this character.
Oh,
He
yeah, I
said
knew
like,
that.
it's like,
Well, I mean,
this guy's
hates
an
is-
idiot. This guy deserves to die.
Hates is a strong word. I think he wanted him to die because it's a good
He hates
ending.
Han Solo.
I don't know.
He
Just
can't stand
just
Star
see-
Wars.
What did you
some of the-
feel when you put back on the costume?
What'd you get? I got paid.
yeah.
He
Just
does
seeing some
not
of his
care.
Interviews now. I mean, granted, while he doesn't care that much about the character, you know that man loves the effect that character has on other people.
I really don't think he does.
No,
The man
I
is a
think you're-
troll.
I
It's
think
really funny to watch him.
But if you see some of his newer interviews, there's like a new life in him. I think I mentioned this before.
It's because he got to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I was
he
gonna say,
loves Indiana
I think
Jones.
you're confusing Han Solo with Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he hates
no,
Han.
I'm
He
just-
hates Han.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, just his whole
I know it's hard for you.
attitude towards acting, like, it's incredible. Like, if you see, like, literally just watch some of the interviews he's done for Shrinking or anything else that come out now, then my man looks like he's just having a blast, and he really loves just sharing acting with other people. And while I understand that he might be annoyed by this character, he loves the effect that it has on people because he's a great guy. I don't want to think about this, but just knowing that he's a little bit up there in age,
He's probably gonna die this decade.
the day that we
Marvel
lose,
better hurry up then.
Yeah, the day we lose Harrison Ford, I'm gonna be a mess. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to he's been in so many of my favorite movies. It's gonna be hard.
At 3.
1, 2, 3.
I was gonna say I saw a funny post where it's like, can't wait for Marvel fanboys to go up to Harrison Ford after he's General Ross and him just make that face at them like, what are you talking about?
I could see that 100%. He's like, really?
It's like, yeah, he is literally doing this for the bag.
He's literally just doing it for the bag and for his grandkids. Like he's
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of builds to that, like, I like Han as a character, and I'm glad he's in the 6th one. I think him dying is way more of a weight because
I would've wanted him to die in the 6th one.
Yoda brings up that line to Luke that I looked at you and I said, he's right. The whole, like, so Han and Leia have to die for it, and Yoda says something like, if they die for their cause, that's right. I go, man, I'm thinking that'd be more powerful if Han did die. They weren't going to kill him because money, but that would make the movie better.
Well, it really would have actually. I think it would.
And it literally is fridging him.
That's my other question about Star Wars. Oh, nope.
What's going on over there?
I don't know. My phone just decided to wee. That's my other question about the Star Wars, and this is a dumb question to be honest. Why do they have iguanas on Dagobah?
And why do they always
know.
they always
Like,
make
why-
that noise like ah? Every time something like flies over, so it's not the iguana, but something flies over, they go into it. It's just, it's like, I think yep. We're here, R2, Florida.
That's
What did I boil the movie down to earlier? It was Empire Strikes Back. Luke goes to Florida, and Han has car trouble. That's the whole movie. I didn't realize.
You're right.
I did not realize till this rewatch that the entire movie is them trying to get the Millennium Falcon to work. That's really, like, they're constantly fixing it, and no matter what they do, they can't jump diapers because of the hyperdrive. Like, it's just over and over, and all it takes, and I said it to him, like, literally, that's why R2 is with Luke also, because if R2's there, he fixes it like that.
100%.
And all now, technically, Lando's people did repairs, they just deactivated it. But all R2 had to do was be on the ship for 5 seconds, and he fixes it. You did it!
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Can we we need to put that on a shirt.
Luke goes to Florida and Han has car trouble.
Like on the front and then on the back. That's just great.
That's what the movie is. We
Episode's over, guys.
We did say how, like, this movie is pretty funny compared to that first one.
Hilarious.
There's a lot of great stuff. Like no, this one goes there, that one goes there. Then, of course, like when Han goes down and the toolbox gets bumped, oh!
And then, of course, your favorite Han Solo line of the entire movie.
Which one? There are 2 moments I brought up. One that makes me laugh and one that's like, no one talks like that. Which one? The talk or the laugh?
The laugh.
3PO's like, wait, stop! And the door closes when they get enough Hoth. Oh, how typical. Come on. And I said, and I was telling Jake, like, more than half of their lines are they dub in because of the sets and where they are and whatnot. And there are times he caught a few where he's like, oh yeah, that's dubbed.
Yeah.
But that one, I because of the set and everything, it's like, of course he dubbed it. You can't see his mouth. It's just his hand coming in. And I could see Harrison Ford walking in. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
I can see that. You know, that makes you think, I really want, and I know they tried it with 7, 8, 9, and 8 probably is closest. I want them to make a movie as good as 5, as good as Empire, with today's technology. Because
they did. The Clone Wars movie.
Did you see the Clone Wars movie?
It's canon and it's theatrical and everyone forgets it. Is it a good movie? No!
You just said it is as good. Oh, never mind. Continue.
I know what I said. Is it a good movie? No. So it is as good as Episode 5.
Oh,
I'm picking.
Just because, like you mentioned, like the dubbing and like just like there was.
That's just how they did
movies
like that. Like, and it's very, the sound is always great in these movies.
It really is.
It is. Even if we catch stuff like that, they weren't doing this with what we have now. They can't just move it over in a timeline.
Yeah.
You know how difficult this would have been to make. Like, I applaud them for it.
Especially everything with like how.
I'm telling you, we wouldn't think as much of it if it was made today.
Well, and how good Yoda looked and sounded, like back in the day, like I wouldn't have thought.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't have thought twice. Just the way that Frank Oz just delivered those lines and they moved like it just felt so real. Like I can't imagine any other way of making it. Like I say, I want new technology, but like not for that.
That being said, when was it? When Yoda does the like weird like.
No, that's when Luke's trying to lift the X-wing.
There we go.
Yeah.
He paused on a frame of.
Oh,
it looks like Yoda's constipated.
You can pause the frame in so many spots for like Yoda, or the other one that I noticed was like, I don't know if it might have been
BT Dubs. Is Yoda's poop also green?
Green it might be. I was gonna say for Yoda and also for C-3PO. I don't remember if it was in this episode or episode 6. That like if you paused on it, like where he was, I don't know if he was shut down or if he was just in the corner of the frame, but it's just 3PO just for something, was just like standing there, just completely frozen with all of the lights off. It looks so goofy. It's just it just made me think of
that. What was I gonna say? It was something with Yoda. Oh, I found because everyone always laughs at the mine. I laughed hard when I watched it a week and a half ago at. When he's first going through Luke's stuff, and he takes something from, he goes, no! And then starts chucking the stuff out.
And people, I'm going to back up as I yell, and people get angry because Luke turned into a crazy old hermit. Look at Yoda! He's acting like he's nuts!
Because he's testing Luke's patience.
Exactly.
He's not being a sad boy, drinking blue milk.
Okay. Let's dissect what people are really angry about there.
Women.
No, literally, it is because
It's literally that. What are you laughing
No,
for?
I'm
That's
laughing
literally
you're
it.
right. I'm laughing because
They
you're
took
right.
the hero and they made him, I'll say, not the hero or not a badass, and they took the woman and made the woman a hero, and they don't like that.
It's not the look they know.
Hashtag not my Star Wars.
It's not my Star Wars, yeah. Just because, like, I love the crazy old Yoda, like the crazy old master. That I don't know why that cliche is just it rings in my ears. I love it so much.
For episode 8, okay, I'm going to try to use the numbers. For episode 8, did they use the Yoda puppet?
That's a very good question.
I think they did.
I would bet they would.
I think they built a new one, of course, but
But it's
a
probably
similar
still
thing where it's probably a blend.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing is, I remember what you were talking about before they added the numbers because the one that I had was the first special edition, the 97 one. But my parents, like I've said before, had recorded copies off TV.
Yeah.
That's why my brain does 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I think there's
originals.
There's a documentary from like 10 or more years ago called "The People versus George Lucas."
That sounds really interesting. I want to watch that.
It's a bunch of Star Wars fans complaining about the changes in the movies and the prequels, and I remember liking it. I've seen it a couple times, but the one thing I think they do say in that one, I think it's this movie where they go, he puts the movies back in theaters in 97, and we're all excited, and we get to see them, and there's an episode title on there, and it's episode 4, and we're like, what? What?
What? It's 4.
4? It's like
so. If they put it in 97, would they not have announced?
I think that's when they announced.
Okay.
So he puts it in the theaters like 4? What do you mean 4?
It also, in 97, would have had a pretty hard time getting disseminated, like,
that is a very
in the
good
same manner that, like,
that's a good point.
because when they announce something now, it's like we know
It's just,
instantly.
you put it on Twitter and everybody,
Yeah, but when you announce something in 97, if no one's watching a live broadcast or anything like that, if the news doesn't report on it,
It'd be in the newspaper.
it would have to be in the newspaper, or it's just going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
And, like, movie news never really had a high priority in the newspaper. If there was an article about a movie, it was by the Showtimes, which were a quarter of a page, 11 pages deep.
Right. It's funny because I'm still fairly young, but I do remember Showtimes in the newspaper.
I remember used to having to call the automatic line to get them all.
Oh yeah.
Like, I really got to sit through Showtimes for Aaron Brockovich. Oh my god, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You know the feeling, but you had to sit through the whole movie.
Anyway, I brought up the two funny things. The other one is when Han introduces Lando to the movie. Like, before Lando showed when he's like, Lando, the Lando system? No. Lando, that's not a system. Lando's a man. Lando Calrissian. I look at Jake, I go, I know, that's like, I know the dialogue in these movies is not what we're supposed to focus on. It's pretty bad at times. It's supposed to be silly and dumb.
Yeah.
No one talks like that. Any normal person would have been like she's a Lando system? No, I have a friend named Lando Calrissian. One sentence, not a system. It's a man, Lando Calrissian. Thanks.
It just sounds like the character. I mean, it's obviously just the age, but it sounds like that's what the character sounds like, though. That's how Han speaks. He's so weird and like robotic like that.
Yeah, Lando was always my favorite character as a kid.
Lando's a G. He is the one of the best characters ever. I love and
Donald Glover was a perfect casting.
Perfect.
Can we please, for the love of all things holy, get more Donald Glover's Lando?
Can we just get more Donald Glover in movies in general?
Honestly, I don't know if you heard this, that like he sat down with Billy D about like how to bring Lando to screen and like what to do, and he just crap.
Let me tell you something, kid. Step 1, Lando porks droids.
Well, it was something like
With a hole.
It was something like that. It was something like, he was just like a space, like
You're in love with a machine.
I remember that it was gone, but it was just like love yourself or like that kind of thing. I love it. Just He's so full of himself, but he's such a swag. I love Lando.
What was that thing you just did?
He's just got so much swag. He's just,
It was more with your hips than that.
It was a little more hippie. Woohoo!
Your hips don't lie, Dickey.
No, they don't.
Isn't she in jail?
Yeah, for tax
Shakira?
fraud.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, Shakira went to jail for
So we
tax.
could put Shakira in jail, but not some other people in our
Apparently.
country?
Apparently.
Lame.
Empire.
And back to Empire. I think if there's any. I mean, I could.
There's not much to talk about else because everyone's talked this movie to death for almost 50 years.
You didn't talk about your favorite Harrison Ford sound that he makes.
I did. Oh, the sound!
it
When that man gets tortured, it cracks me up. Just it's a cutaway, so it's already funny. That's the thing. When you cut away, it can be effective in that way, but it's like he's going towards that shocky thing. Mm-hmm. It's right, and it's like oh, and then you hear. I didn't want to scream into the mic.
Yeah,
And when I may have backed it up like 4 times to keep hearing it, which took 10 minutes because every time I back up 10 seconds on my TV for Disney Plus, it takes very long to start again.
Oh, you see, this is why I watched it through my Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Old school.
Drew probably will watch it through his laser disc.
Well, on that note, is there anything else you guys?
Yes, we need to talk about something. We did not talk about it at all, and I cannot believe we didn't talk about it at all. I know it's been talked to death, but it needs to be stated that Hoth battle is the best Star Wars battle.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Doesn't have Ewoks.
Oh my gosh.
That's fair.
I
But
love
it's
the
so-
Endor
Wait.
fight.
Okay, so hold on. This is not about episode 2. God.
It is episode 2. It's movie 2.
You got to kind of separate it into, so that's like an actual a land battle. Okay, that probably is. You're probably right.
It really is.
The
Well,
best
'cause that's the
lightsaber,
first time-
because then the best lightsaber duel is in Return of the Jedi.
You know, as much as I say Empire Strikes Back is my favorite movie, you're right. The best
And
lightsaber battle.
the best space fight is in Return of the Jedi. Everything at the end there, plus Lando going in to blow that baby up and getting out just at the last second, is better than the first movie.
Anyway, back to my question. Was it the special editions that made the Ewoks blink?
It was Star Wars Blu-ray. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it so much.
And you know what else? Okay, I don't want to be gripey Star Wars fan guy here, but I do really dislike that they replaced whoever it was with Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, David Prowse.
That's the guy in the suit. They had someone else for his face. I'm gonna go to the movie and I'll see his name. Sebastian Shaw.
Sebastian Shaw.
I feel like I understand the point. I understand why, and again, retroactively, yes. However, I feel like that's changing an art piece. And I'm not cool with that.
I mean, I'm not. Really
It's
cool
like-
with that
it's
either,
like
but
going-
We don't have the right to say. Unfortunately, it's really up to George Lucas.
Not anymore, but...
That was the whole point about that documentary is like, he claims they're not for you, they're for me. And the one guy says, I don't know. It's a public thing, so they kind of are everyone's now.
Well,
And I
they're
remember thinking
everyone's,
like,
but it's not everyone's to change.
I think they make the
That
point,
makes
like, do what
sense.
Spielberg did with E.T. Yeah, you touch everything up in the special edition, but on the other disc for that release, he gave us the original
Yeah,
movie.
that's really
That's a
really the thing. There's no real way to watch the originals unless
It's
you
like
have
he's
like the
embarrassed.
old media about
Because
it.
that's what I have them all, like an old rip on my hard drive. That's the only way I can ever watch them. And that's a very good point. Why didn't I like?
There's nothing wrong with him touching it up all he
Yeah.
wants, as long as we have access to previous versions,
And
and we don't.
And
Yeah.
some of the things he did are good. Like I like the change of seeing pilots' heads moving around in the X-wings.
And some of the added effects.
And then that's the first one, but
yeah, like the added effects, like the added like that stuff, like that makes sense.
or that
It's when
keyframe shadow of the snow speeder.
It's when you
right.
add in people singing in random monsters. That is
The
just
singing, again, the hairy chicken nugget man. We said that last time we talked about
sure we did.
Star Wars
singing.
movies.
Like
I'm thinking.
in the third one,
I jumped to episode 6.
like
The-
oh,
Uluwet, ono chiki ha ha, yo, yo, and then you get all that CGI spit. Ah, yeah. You don't remember that?
oh okay.
It's-
yeah.
Yeah.
Back to what you were saying about how he has the right to change that. So how do I put this? It's a little bit like, and I'm not comparing the two works here. Please do not hear me as saying that.
Oh boy.
It's a little bit like if Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, let it sit in the Louvre. I'm sure it wasn't in the Louvre right after he got it. I'm sure that wasn't even around then, but
Yeah, but I know. Yeah,
let it sit for 30 years and then just bust into someone's house and painted a frown over her smile. It's not, but like that. This is not that bad, obviously, and it's just kind of a gripe that I have. But
I mean, I have the same gripe too, but it's just at the end of the day, I think that unfortunately he has the right to do whatever he wants.
He can do it as long as we can still watch the other version, but he is embarrassed by it. It's
the
like
original one? Why? That's the one everyone loves.
because
I don't
he in his
understand.
mind it's like the technology wasn't there yet.
I mean, I get that, but listen,
it's not
that's
what I
how-
wanted in my head. No, it's perfect. It's exactly what I want.
But listen, that's how I feel about some of the movies I made in 7th grade. But are you kidding me? I would still show that to everybody because yes, it's embarrassing,
I've
but it
seen
happened.
stuff.
It's fun to show
But
off, and you.
I was gonna say, but would you go back and fix them?
I would.
Really?
I actually, if I had the ability to go back.
But
and fix
why?
some of
That's
them,
the charm of them. You
Yeah,
look back.
it
well,
wouldn't. It
you
would
look
no
back
longer
on
be
them.
the thing that
Yeah.
you made.
That's a fair point.
And also, it's not a big public money making thing.
No,
it's just
I
this
know,
dumb
it's
little
not at
thing
all.
you made.
Yeah.
And it's two different things, but on
It is a
both
little
levels,
different.
it's like if you change it, it's not the same thing anymore. And if that's what you're going for, I guess, but it kind of ruins what you made originally.
I mean, he's just trying to retcon himself so that it seems like he wrote the other stuff first, like he says he did, but he probably didn't.
oh no, he didn't. He wrote the original trilogy as one giant script in the 70s. I still laugh at. He makes THX, and no one watched it because it's an artsy-fartsy movie that's really slow-moving. So he gets mad. So he makes, the pulpiest, most nostalgic thing ever with American Graffiti, and it's like so there, take that. And then everyone loves it, and it grosses a lot of money. So what does he do?
Fine, I'll do it
he's,
again.
He's petty. He's like, okay, I'm going to make the most pulpy thing imaginable. And he cares, but he basically threw away what he wanted to do at the time was make more artistic movies and instead made something that's different. And
Yeah.
after that first movie, everything changed.
Yeah, he kind of sold out a little bit.
Yeah, it's because Coppola, Cassini and Coppola, good friends. Coppola has said I'm sad that we never really got to see Lucas the filmmaker because after those movies, it became Lucas the businessman.
Well, he didn't even direct 5 and 6.
Nope.
He just was he just on board for just story, just
He's
general story
executive
and plot?
producer, and he wrote the
Yeah.
part of the script because, I think Lee Brackett is the famous Empire first draft, something technically first draft, because I know he wrote out the story or whatever before. But if what I remember of Empire Dreams, the first movie tired him out so bad because he was producing and directing that.
That's a lot. I don't blame. That's a
So
lot.
he decided to take a more executive approach to it where he's in control of everything creatively, but he's not the one actually directing it. And that's why he got his college professor to direct it.
And I think that's what made it work so well. And that's what made the prequels. I mean, not to get into that right now, but that's what made them not work as well. Is because when you can collaborate and you can share your ideas with other people and have the whole collaboration put through and make something, it works better. Film is a collaborative medium. You can't just have one singular person everyone's telling him,
Then why does he get unilateral decision making as far as changing it in the future?
Because he's George Lucas. And in the 90s,
But you just said it's collaborative.
Because in the 90s, nobody told him no.
He's saying it's collaborative, and because of that, that's why the prequels aren't very good.
Yes.
Because no one told him no.
Yes.
He did whatever he wanted for 3 full movies,
Yes.
and look what happened.
Yes.
And the opposite of that happened for the sequels.
Yeah.
No one was in charge at all. They just every movie is a different thing, and it's not a very good story.
And they tried to steer it back into one thing with the third
it's like they went one way, and then it was subverted, which that's cool. But then that third movie like unsubverted it, and it's just a waste of time.
Speaking of which, that shot in the cave where she puts her hand up to the mirror-ish thing, and she goes all the way back. That's
when she goes into the planet's butthole. That's what it looked like. Someone's got some gardening to
Star
do.
Wars with Ragnarok.
No,
Jake,
it was Last Jedi.
When you first started saying Ragnarok, I thought you were saying something a little different. I thought you were.
You are lonely, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. So I guess for Empire, you guys have anything else you want to
I'm good.
talk about?
I think that's we're going to keep talking about Star Wars to the end of time.
Realistically could never stop this conversation. And then we would just have a 20-hour podcast for people to watch. But
And to clarify, the only reason I hate the Ewoks blinking is because it creeps me out. I don't care if they change it. Yeah, I don't care if they... It's not me like a... They're not supposed to blink because the original they didn't. It's more of a... That's unsettling.
Yeah.
You're unsettling.
My cousin would put the disc in, just be like, hey, look. And then you see... And I go,
What?
I better now, but at the time I was like, I do not like that. The CGI.
It's a shame that that's your favorite one, then.
I have not
Yeah.
noticed that, and now I really want to go back and make sure to look for the Ewoks
don't
blinking.
forget. During the planet celebrations after the Death Star, we free! That's so funny.
I try
It's
to
like,
forget.
why? Why?
I try to forget that.
That's right. I forgot.
I really try to forget that.
Oh, man.
Well, let's end it there, shall we? Thanks for listening to today's epic episode, epic conclusion of my top 10 movies. Stay tuned because...
We free!
We are. We free!
We free!
But if you don't want to be free from our clutches, you can follow us online. That was kind of weird. But Jared,
Wow.
Yeah.
So for those of you who
Yeah.
watch this and not the rest of the list, good job. And and we promise it gets better.
Oh my gosh.
From here on out, that is.
Uh-huh.
You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and listen to us on Apple, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our bell, make sure you rate and comment on all those things, and check out Dickey's website. Just not in the middle of the night, something weird might happen. He's lonely.
It's just another way to check out the team, to listen to
Dickey
episodes.
Nights.
Maybe we should do a late night thing. That could be interesting.
No.
Oh, man, you are lonely. Ah.
What is Lonely Dickey's favorite number? 34. He's smiling because it's true.
Where are his fanfics of Sonic?
Oh.
Anyway, if you liked listening to my top 10, guess what? We got more top 10s coming your way. Next, we're going to do Jake's. And after that, we're doing Jared's.
So, just to clarify, for mine, next week is an honorable mention. It is not technically in my top 10.
It's an honorable mention. Yeah.
It's a very special episode, but there's no drugs or alcohol.
So it's only a little special.
That's what a special episode is.
Do you know how much drugs and alcohol is in the movie?
In that movie, yeah.
You just spent 10 hours watching it.
Don't
That's
spoil
for
the surprise.
Wait, we
next
gotta
time.
tell them so they can
That's
watch
for
it.
next
Oh,
time.
yeah. Well, how are they supposed to watch it?
They'll have to
How
watch
are they
the
supposed
normal
to watch
ones.
Ah.
Well, if you want to watch it, Jake, what do they got to watch for next time?
The Godfather trilogy. The whole thing. We did it. You should too.
All 9 hours and 47 minutes.
Yeah. Actually, it might not be
It's
that
not that,
long.
because there's added footage.
Oh.
We watched a different cut, but that's next week.
That's next week. So tune in next week for that awesome stuff. So once again, from all of us here at All of Slate Media, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We will see you guys next time.
We so free.